very much for joining us, sharing your views. Coming back to you, Jaijeet, talking about tourism, the big impetus that has been given by the government in the budget, I think there was something similar that was announced in terms of expansionism, infrastructure, sustainability. There has been a dedicated push to build tourism infrastructure in the country. How does this help?
Absolutely. This was a crying need with a country with the potential like India. We were attracting less tourists than even much smaller countries. So, and not only that, we have got huge cultural potential in terms of the Buddhist circuits and specific such cultural circuits, which the budget clearly calls out. So there was a crying need to really leverage our tourism sector. And this budget has gone in very deep into, in fact, almost micro-stated some of the things that needs to be done, and that is backed it up with budgetary support. So it's very, very supportive of an explosive growth in tourism.
Talking about India's infrastructure, capex, innovation, capex has been increased by 9%, 12.2 lakh crore rupees. Do you think that is going to help sustain India's GDP growth of 7.2%?
Absolutely, it will. To put things in perspective, in the last 5 years, the capex has gone up by 3 times, which is humongous. And if you see, the revenue deficit is around 1.3, 1.4%, whereas the fiscal deficit is targeted at 4.3%. The difference is actually what's going into capital expenditure, which is infrastructure, largely speaking. Every rupee of infrastructure spend leads to 2.1 rupees in terms of returns. And so it's got one of the highest multiplier effect. So the reason why we are steadily on the path of growth since the year 2000, when the then Prime Minister Vajpayee ji started building roads, is because an immense amount of investment has gone into infrastructure, which opens up this economy for private sector. It opens up the economy for reduced logistics cost. We've been able to reduce the logistics cost to less than 8%. And the investment into infrastructure itself creates jobs directly because of the number of people involved in building that infrastructure. So it has got a tremendous amount of impact on the economy.
Absolutely. And we were talking about, these custom duty waivers that have been given in different sectors. How does this complement India's, building open alternative supply chains, resilient supply chains, vis-a-vis the trade deals that have been signed in the recent times?
If you notice the sectors mentioned specifically, were also sectors which were kind of next generation industries, which included civil aviation, nuclear, energy storage, electronics, cancer drugs, biologics, and so on. So we are now pivoting towards the next generation of industries. And I think that places India very well for the next 10 to 15 years in terms of growth, because we want to claim that space. Even data centers, which is the future of IT, there is being given a tax holiday. So the focus has largely been on next generation of industries, as well as next generation of infrastructure, such as the inland waterways and the sea-based transportation, the shallow sea transportation. So those are the focus areas that will reduce the cost of logistics and bring in the next generation of industries that India badly needs.
All right, stay on with me, Jaijeet. Rajiv Juneja, President.